When did one full-time job in Australia stop being enough? Because somewhere between the 2020 lockdowns and right now, in 2026, the rules changed. And most Australians didn't get the memo. People are working more hours than their parents ever did. They're earning more on paper too, but at the end of every month, there's less money left over than ever. That's not bad luck. That's not bad budgeting. That's a system that no longer adds up. And in the next few minutes, the reason a second income is no longer a bonus will be clear. Start with the numbers. They tell the real story. Australia is one of only a handful of developed countries where wages are still going backwards. Real wages are sitting around 4.8% below where they were before the pandemic. So even with a pay rise this year, that money buys less than it did 6 years ago. At the same time, mortgage stress is climbing fast. Roy Morgan reports that around 1.64 million Australians are now at risk of not being able to comfortably pay their home loan. And the Salvation Army's 2026 Red Shield appeal showed something even more confronting. After paying for housing, couples with children are left with just $19 a day to live off. Single parents are left with $22. That's not enough to cover food, fuel, school costs, and basic bills. It's survival mode, and it's becoming the new normal for working families across the country. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The middle class in Australia is fading. The classic Aussie dream, one job, one home, one stable life, was built for an economy that no longer exists. Back in the 1990s, one wage could pay the mortgage, raise a family, and still cover a yearly holiday. Today, that same life needs two full-time wages, and even then, it's tight. Groceries are up, insurance is up, power bills are up, rent has gone up in nearly every city, and wages compared to real prices are still sitting near their lowest level in over a decade. And the pressure isn't shared evenly. Younger Australians under 35 are getting hit the hardest. Most of them started working after the global financial crisis. They walked into a housing market that grew 4 times in price while wages barely moved. For renters, it's even worse. Empty rental homes have stayed below 2% for years. That means landlords have all the power. Rent goes up faster and higher than ever. And for older Australians close to retirement, the maths is just as scary. Super balances that once felt safe are now stretched across longer lives and higher bills. The retirement age keeps creeping up, and the idea of stopping work at 65 is being replaced with the reality of working into your 70s just to stay afloat. This is where things need to change, because there are 2 types of people in Australia right now. The first group is waiting for prices to drop, waiting for interest rates to fall, waiting for the government to help, waiting for their boss to notice them. The second group has stopped waiting. They've faced a hard truth that most Australians haven't yet. If your money comes from one source, that's not safety. That's a single weak link. One layoff, one illness, one company cut, one bad quarter at work, and everything you've built can fall apart in a single email. A second income changes that completely. It's not just about more money. It's about control. It's about choice. It's about waking up on a Monday and knowing that if your boss ended your job today, the mortgage would still get paid. The pride would still be there. The peace of mind would still be there. That's what a second income really gives you. And here's the good news. Building one doesn't mean driving Uber at midnight. It doesn't mean delivering pizzas after a 10-hour shift. The most recent ABS Labor account data shows that 976,400 Australians are now working multiple jobs. That's 6.5% of the entire workforce, and the number is climbing every quarter. Most of these workers aren't doing it for fun. They're doing it because the maths of a single income simply doesn't work anymore. And the highest paying side hustles aren't hard labor anymore. They're digital, tutoring, freelance work, selling used goods, and one of the fastest growing options of all, designing and selling custom products without holding any stock. Which brings up today's sponsor, Printful. Printful is a print-on-demand platform. It lets anyone design and sell custom products without touching stock, paying up front, or shipping a single order. The product list includes t-shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, posters, tote bags, phone cases, and over 450 other items. Here's how it works. Upload a design, choose a product, list it in an online store like Etsy, Shopify, eBay, or your own website. When someone buys, Printful prints the item, packs it, and ships it straight to the customer with your brand on it. The profit goes back to you. No warehouse, no staff. For Australians who want a real second income but don't have hours of free time each day, this is one of the lowest risk ways to start. You can build a brand around a hobby, a community, or a niche you spot online. What makes Printful even better is how easily it grows. The same store can sell 5 products a month or 5,000. And the work stays nearly the same because the printing, packing, and shipping is done in the background. There are also built-in design tools, mock-up makers, and easy links to every major store platform. That means a total beginner can launch a real online brand in one afternoon. Many Australian sellers start with simple text designs around topics they know well, like fitness, parenting, tradie humour, or local sports, and grow from there. The link to get started is in the description below. Even one weekend of setup that turns into a few $100s a month is a few $100s more than before. And in this economy, that matters. Now zoom back out, because the second income mindset goes deeper than any one platform. Wealthy Australians don't have one income. They have 5, 6, sometimes 10. Money from shares, money from rentals, money from businesses, money from royalties, money from interest, money from family trusts. They don't depend on one boss because they know real wealth grows when time stops being traded for money, and assets and systems start doing the work for them. The average Australian was never taught this. The old advice was simple: get a stable job, save in a high-interest account, hope for the best. That advice worked for a world that no longer exists. There's also a powerful mental shift that happens when a second income starts working. Confidence grows, choices change. A bad day at work no longer feels like the end of the world. Asking for a raise no longer feels desperate because there's no longer a desperate need for that one paycheck. People who build a second income often say the real reward isn't even the extra money, it's losing the fear. And in a country where money stress has become the daily mood for millions of workers, losing that fear is worth more than any raise a boss could ever give. So here's the real takeaway. A second income in 2026 isn't a sign you failed. It's a sign you finally see the system clearly. It's the first real step out of living paycheck to paycheck. It's how a person stops being one bad week away from chaos. Start small. Pick one income stream you can build in the next 30 days. It might be print on demand through Printful. It might be tutoring online. It might be flipping items on Marketplace. It might be writing, designing, or freelancing in a field you already know. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something. Because the first dollar earned outside of a job is the most important dollar there is. It proves that the limit on your income isn't set by your boss. It's set by you. If this video gave you a wake-up call, do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there.